A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed a willingness to consider U.S. proposals as a starting point for peace talks. During a recent press conference at the conclusion of a 3-day visit to Kyrgyzstan, Putin emphasized the need for serious dialogue, stating, "We need to sit down and discuss this seriously. Every word matters." This statement comes as Ukraine continues to face military pressure and political turmoil, including a corruption scandal within its government. The backdrop of this dialogue is marked by continued fighting on the ground, with reports of drone attacks and military engagements persisting across the region. Putin's remarks were in response to a peace plan put forward by U.S. President Donald Trump, which he described as a set of issues put forward for discussion rather than a finalized agreement. He made it clear that the cessation of hostilities is contingent upon the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from occupied territories, warning that failure to do so would result in Russia taking military action to reclaim these areas. The Kremlin has remained largely silent on the specifics of the peace plan, but it is evident that Putin's demands include the complete withdrawal of Ukrainian forces from the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia regions, territories that Russia has claimed throughout the conflict. Furthermore, Putin has insisted that Ukraine refrain from joining NATO and hosting Western military forces, as he seeks to re-establish Russia's influence over its neighbor. As the situation develops, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is scheduled to visit Moscow next week, while U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll is expected to head to Kiev. This diplomatic activity highlights the ongoing efforts by the U.S. to mediate a resolution to the conflict, although the initial proposals have been criticized as heavily favoring Russian interests. European leaders, sidelined in previous discussions, are expressing a desire for greater involvement in the peace process, as they remain concerned about their own security in light of Russian aggression. Analysts suggest that Putin is attempting to outlast the Western commitment to supporting Ukraine, with some speculating that he aims to secure more territorial gains before conceding to any peace negotiations. Despite claims from Russian officials of battlefield momentum, independent assessments cast doubt on the viability of a swift Russian victory. The Institute for the Study of War has indicated that Russian advances have been slow and costly, with recent efforts largely opportunistic and dependent on favorable weather conditions. Tensions between Russia and European nations continue to escalate, exemplified by the closure of Poland's consulate general in Irkutsk, a move that follows the closure of Russia's consulate in Gdansk. This tit-for-tat diplomatic fallout underscores the fragile state of relations in the region. As the fighting continues, Ukraine has reported casualties from recent Russian drone attacks, with a 53-year-old man killed in Sumy and injuries reported in Odessa and Dnipropetrovsk. The Ukrainian military is grappling with both external pressures and internal challenges, including a major corruption scandal that has raised concerns about governance and resource allocation during the war. In a bid to alleviate some of the financial strain, Ukraine has secured an agreement with the International Monetary Fund for $8.1 billion over the next 4 years, although this falls short of the estimated $153 billion needed for the country's budget and military requirements through 2027. As the international community watches closely, the prospect of peace remains uncertain. Critics of Putin, including prominent figures like former chess champion Garry Kasparov, argue that any peace agreement under his leadership is unlikely, citing his historical pattern of aggression and expansionism. The coming weeks will be crucial as diplomatic efforts unfold and the realities on the ground continue to evolve. The world awaits to see whether these discussions can pave the way for a lasting resolution to a conflict that has already caused immense suffering and instability in the region. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.